Now, when Matthew Stafford showed up in L.A., we were told that he was going to be the answer. They shipped off Jared Goff after Jared Goff had led him to a Super Bowl. Now, Jared Goff didn't win the Super Bowl, obviously, but if Stafford was the answer, then how come through 15 weeks we have so many questions? Matthew Stafford leads the NFC. Quarterbacks, interceptions going the other way. That's pick sixes. Matthew Stafford, he was 0-3 in the playoffs in Detroit, but we knew that wasn't Stafford's fault. That was on Detroit. They didn't have any running backs. Head coach, Jim Caldwell, underrated, underappreciated, or overrated? Overappreciated. Clearly, Matthew Stafford's 0-3 playoff record with Detroit wasn't on Stafford. But now that he's still struggling this late in the season with the Rams, it makes you wonder, was Stafford playing a part in the shortcomings for the Lions? Because if he was, then he might be the reason that the Rams fall short. He makes me nervous. But Sanchez, does Matt Stafford make you nervous?
You're trying to get me to talk bad about a quarterback?
No. Just ask me a question.
You're nuts. No chance. No, listen, I think the pick six stat, that became a little alarming. I think, that pattern of throws that go back the other way, the boomerang ball, and they throw it one way and it goes right back the other way. That's tough. But listen, those kind of things happen. You go through a rut like that, fine. My issue was this last weekend, the ones he can control, let's eliminate those. And I know he can. He's so savvy. He's so smart. But like this first one, he gets away from a pressure, and this is just disorientation. Like you lose sight of your surroundings. The chess pieces move on the board, and you get a quick second to see it. This next one, I'd like him to throw it a little sooner. I think he took an extra reset. So if he can get that ball airborne sooner, this last one has to be eliminated because I think he was trying to look a guy off, and either way, that ball's getting picked off. If it doesn't get picked off by the backer because it was tipped, it's going to get picked off by the DBs because he was thrown into a defensive team meeting. There were just too many guys there, too much congestion. So what can he control? Get the ball thrown quicker, don't throw into traffic, easily fixable. I think he can do that. I know he has the mental fortitude to do that, so that doesn't scare me, but it just has to, we got to nip those in the bud now, and move forward.
Yeah, I'm scared.
You're worried.
I'm scared.
No.
I'm scared, but I've always been scary about Matthew Stafford. This is Hollywood, Mark Sanchez. You could get lost real quick out here. This isn't Detroit, all right? Matthew Stafford has been in the NFL the lifetime of a preteen and not a playoff win to show for it. There are far less talented quarterbacks that can say that they won a playoff game, right? Like one in Ohio right now. They're struggling a little bit, also throwing a lot of interceptions. Listen, we all know that Matthew Stafford is very talented, and I feel like we always have to say that when we talk about Matthew. Matthew Stafford is very talented. He puts a lot of numbers.
It's the arm talent. It's freaky arm talent.
He has freaky arm talent. Cannon! All right, and I love all of it. Listen, he has had a great season. All right, he is clearly better than Jared Goff. Obviously, we know Detroit has lots of issues and doesn't get nearly enough credit for how dysfunctional they've been over decades and decades of time. However, this is a problem, and this is the issue for me with Matthew Stafford, is like there's a little bit of bubble wrap when we talk about him. He's like kind of protected. He's a made man, so no one can come out and slice at him the way that every other quarterback in this league gets taken down when they struggle. It's weird. I don't get it. Maybe it's like you spent 12 years in Detroit or 11 years in Detroit, whatever it was. So you're like, listen, I love Detroit. It's been many years there growing up. But the inconsistency is a problem, and we know you can't turn the ball over like this in the postseason. It's fine right now. You might be able to overcome it, but that's not going to work in the postseason. Now, the good news for the Rams, because Darrell Henderson is out with an MCL injury, they're probably getting Cam Akers back, who is a tremendous player, was a huge loss to them at the beginning of the season. So he's going to get a little more help. He has plenty of help on the outside. Odell, we know what Cooper Kupp is. But these interceptions have to stop.
They got to go. And Sanchez, while you're at it, please text Stafford and tell him you did it. Okay, just tell him you got his back. Tell him, hey, your A-block, phenomenal. Just tell him you covered for him. Here's my problem, Sanchez. You know what would be incredibly weird? If I was walking out studio and I fell and you're like, good job, Emmanuel, just get up, just one step in front of the other, and then I tripped again and you're like, great job, Acho. You're starting to walk. Good job.
Let me make sure I'm on your page here. You're comparing quarterback play in the NFL to walking?
what you were talking about, Matthew Stafford throwing 3 pick sixes, throwing a ball right to Anthony Barr. Anthony Barr, who has 3 picks over the course of his first 170-plus games, and he had 2 picks against Matthew Stafford. What I am making the comparison to is you're coddling Matthew Stafford as though he is a rookie quarterback.
No.
You're coddling Matthew Stafford as though he hasn't played 11 seasons of ball, as though he wasn't the number 1 pick a decade ago, as though he wasn't a 5-star recruit out of Highland Park High School, one of the most dominant high schools in Texas, one of the most dominant states in all of the United States of America. That is my point. It's like, it'd be one thing if you were saying, like, okay, Justin Hurts or Jalen Hurts, it's okay, it's all good. But you're talking like that to Matthew Stafford, big. Like, this is Matthew Stafford.
They're fixable mistakes.
Okay,
and I was explaining how they happen. It's not right.
Let me ask you this.
It's not good, but they happen.
Is it not problematic that this far into a season, this far into a career, this meaningful of a season, with what they gave up to get him, he's still making those mistakes?
Tell me about Tom Brady's playoff run last year. Let's look at those games.
Wasn't good.
Let's look at Was anybody freaking out, crying wolf, like,
No, but Tom Brady's
sky's
the greatest quarterback that ever walked the earth.
Okay, fine, but you can get by if you have a good enough squad with a couple of bonehead plays. I mean, nobody against the Saints last year, the Bucs went on the road. Nobody had more than 100 yards receiving. Like Tom Brady, he had an awful game. He threw multiple interceptions in multiple games against New Orleans, against Green Bay. So, listen, this stuff happens. If he's the greatest of all time and he went through that rut in a divisional game and a championship game, a conference championship game, I think they're going to be okay.
Mark is so nice. I feel bad arguing with him.
I
don't mind arguing
Tell
with
me
him.
I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong.
I would get nervous telling you you're wrong.
If you
you're
can
wrong.
win ugly.
Look, Tom Brady, I've seen Tom Brady do this. I've seen him. I've seen him come back from 28-3 in the Super Bowl. I don't doubt that man anymore.
Well, give him
I've
a
never
chance.
seen Matthew Stafford win anything of note ever in his whole long career.
He's gonna have an opportunity.
Long career. Yes, he is going to have an
Give me that
opportunity
coin.
here. But that's my question, and I think it's fair. Again, it's this weird thing with Matt. Isn't it weird with Matthew Stafford? Like
It's a little unsettling. I understand where you're coming from.
What's weird to me about Matthew Stafford is we always blamed the Lions, right? And it was fair, and we should blame the Lions, at least in our minds. They didn't have any great head coaches. Granted, Jim Caldwell went to a Super Bowl once with Peyton Manning, and Tony Dungy went to a Super Bowl once with Peyton Manning. I get it, Jim Caldwell didn't win, but still had a Super Bowl caliber coach. Didn't have great talent on offense. Had a Hall of Famer, first ballot, in Calvin Johnson. I just think winning and losing is a quarterback stat. Now, I have the Rams in the Super Bowl. Full disclosure, I got the Rams facing the Chiefs. So I need Matthew Stafford to ball. But I went to the Titans game. Rams, Titans, there in L.A., watching that joint. And I'm sitting here watching Matthew Stafford throw picks out his own end zone, just flailing like he doesn't know what he's doing, like he's a college quarterback. No, because he was great in college. Like he's good in high school. Maybe like he was a middle school quarterback. So I was sitting here, Sanchez, just getting nervous because I'm like, you are too good to be playing this bad. Matthew Stafford is freaky talented. Sam Bradford, too, had freaky arm talent. So freaky arm talent, to me, that's not enough. I'm just wondering, is there an it that's missing? And if there is an it that's missing, what is it? You're a quarterback.
I think some of it, those things are now ingrained in him a little bit, having to do more, having to force a ball downfield, having to consistently play catch up. He's still getting accustomed and used to and comfortable with playing with a lead, seeing how a defense is going to give him the ball back, not worrying as much about, checking the ball down at times. He's still getting used to all that stuff. It took Tom Brady 12 games, 13 games to get used to playing in a new system. So, listen, it's his first year there. I think we're going to be fine. Let's just give him a chance in the playoffs. When all the chips are on the table, I think he'll be fine. I think he'll answer all your questions.
Fine. No, when you ask a girl if she's good, I'm fine.
But I didn't do that. He's fine, and then look.
I'm fine. I do think that the Rams will be fine, but that's not the standard for the Rams. Here's the question with Matthew Stafford to me. We know he's a good quarterback, good to great.
Great.
Sure. Great quarterback. Is he a winning quarterback?
There's a difference.
I don't care about the regular season. We know what he's capable of doing. In Los Angeles, with the Rams at SoFi, around here, are you a winning quarterback? That's the question that Matthew Stafford has to answer.
Winning and losing is a quarterback statistic. I don't care what anybody says. I will go fight to the death, scratch and claw, tooth and nail to say that winning and losing is a quarterback statistic. As long as Stafford has played, it's time for him to win. It's time, as long as Stafford has been in the league, it's time for him to win playoff games. You got several playoff wins, and you went out there and you did your thing. I don't know why you defending a guy who can't even do what big dog Mark Sanchez was out here doing.
He's going to get one this year, at least one this year.
And he needs to get more because I need him to win a Super Bowl. We gonna see.